here. We've got a few people on here now. So live Q&A about anything you want, really. I'm open to what you want to talk about. Please chime in with questions, because it only really works if it's a two-way thing. I can talk for England, but it's always better if questions come from you rather. So I'm opening the floor up. We can talk about whatever you want. We can talk about entity attachments, overlays, interdimensionals. We can talk about AI, transhumanism. We can talk about anything you want. So Silver Soap says, what are your thoughts on cannabis? Yeah, my thoughts on cannabis are not too popular. I don't actually think it's that great. I think the medicinal benefits of cannabis are not in denial at all. For sure, CBD oil, THC can do amazing things for healing. But I don't think that smoking it and taking it that way is a good thing. Just purely on the basis that when we open ourselves up like that and smoking cannabis, although you can feel quite nice and chilled on it, and I have myself, it actually lowers your vibration. And when you do anything that lowers your vibration, this is when you open yourself up to perhaps entities, attachments, interdimensionals that are literally waiting in 4D to infiltrate. And it's the same with anything, ayahuasca, alcohol. I mean, look at the word spirits in alcohol. I mean, what is that telling you? It's telling you that if you drink alcohol, you drink spirits, that's exactly what you're opening yourself up to. And when you look at the word jinn, jinn is the word for demon in, I think, Islam. So yeah, I mean, I used to be a big fan of cannabis. I really did, but I see it for what it is now, and how also it kind of puts people off their path. I mean, I know when I've smoked it in periods of my life, I've felt quite lackluster. I don't get things done. I'm not as proactive as I would be if I didn't smoke it. So I just see it for what it is now. I don't feel like I need it. See, people smoke marijuana for, yeah, it's enjoyable, but also they smoke it to kind of like paper over the cracks. It's a very good suppressive. And whatever's going on in your life, you can smoke marijuana, and that will kind of ease the burden of what emotional whatever emotional traumas you're carrying that you haven't dealt with, or so it's a very good suppressive. And that's okay, that's good in one sense, because you can sit there and forget about your troubles, but it's not really getting to the crux of your issues. It's almost like avoidance, really, because you're not really doing any deep subconscious inner child or emotional work to get to the root cause of your problems. You're just you're just having a puff, and it's like you forget about everything and you drift away. And I can see the appeal in it, because I've done it myself. I think what we tend to do in this reality is it is so hard just being on this planet sometimes. I mean, when you look around, it's crazy. I mean, it really is a circus. We're living in some kind of circus that's ran by psychopaths. And many of us have got so much trauma in different ways. We've all got our things. Some have been through horrific abuse, and others bullying at school. And we've all got our story, right? So it's understandable that we're going to want to do things that take us out of our consciousness and take us out of this reality and out of this realm for a few hours. I completely get that. So I can understand why people drink and they want to do ayahuasca and DMT and, smoke weed, because it takes you out of where we are. And there is a certain appeal to that. But unfortunately, if we are to be the best version of ourselves and level up in this game, this computer game that we're involved in, then to be at our best, we need to realize that these things that we get involved in are not always for our benefit, and can actually trap us in another sense. So the idea really is to face the dark night of the soul and really do the work that's driving these behaviors. And we all have them to different degrees. Some people overeat, other people it's alcohol, other people it's, I mean, even overworking and even over exercising. You know, that is also can be a form of avoidance, because if you keep so busy all the time, then you're not giving yourself a chance to think about what happened to you as a child. You know, so it's almost an avoidance. So Silver Soap says, yeah, it must be taken with respect, not be abused. Yeah, I mean, I would go one further. I still think that I'm all for being our best versions, right? This is what I'm about. I've got this thing in me that I just want to, while I'm here on earth, I want to reach my biggest potential. I want to express what I came here to do in the fullest sense. And what I see with marijuana and alcohol and stuff like that is it holds me back from being that. And that's why, yeah, I agree in one hand that definitely things like ayahuasca and stuff like that need to be taken with respect. They can be very powerful. But I don't feel like we need to do that at all. I feel like we need to do the inner work that is driving us to want to do that. So Meg, this is so strange, as I was watching a sub about chakra move and had to stop halfway through because I was unsure, and then this appeared. There you go, Meg, you need to have a session. Yeah, chakra removal. Chakras are one of the biggest deceptions, Meg, and you know, let me tell you, it changed my life when I got rid of those bad boys, and now other people are having them removed as well. But there's a whole, I've just done another video about the other overlays as well. So let me answer some of your questions. I'll get back to you in a minute, Silver. So but let me just answer some of Meg's questions. So chakras are only need for third dimensional levels of consciousness. Okay, so chakras. So let me make this clear, right? Okay, we have natural chakras, and we have artificial overlay chakras. Okay, so the three natural chakras we have are around our what we call Dantian points. So we have one around our third eye, one around our heart, and one around our sacral chakra. These are our natural energy vortexes, right? The 7 artificial chakras that we you know, we're all sitting there on doing Reiki on and playing records on and, you know, balancing every 5 minutes. These are artificial overlays. Okay, so these are etheric overlays. These are like nets. Yeah, they're like nets that have been placed on us in the etheric, that allow interdimensionals and entities and anything that's of a low vibrational consciousness to plug in and lock into our energy bodies and drain our emotional, sexual energy, our fear energy for themselves, because they need it as food. They need that energy to survive. So we don't, even in a third dimensional realm, we don't need the chakras, not the artificial ones. Okay, they are nothing more. They were created by AI, because what it is right, we're born into pods. Okay, so I don't know if any of you have seen the film The Matrix, where one of the first scenes is where all the humans are lined up and they're in those pods. We are born into those. Again, that's created by AI, and within those pods we have all these other overlays and nanotech and everything, all this stuff that needs to be removed. So a lot of this that is put onto us is definitely not needed, and really needs to be removed totally. I hope that answers your question. But Meg, feel free to ask me as many questions as you want in this session that we're having, because it makes it interactive, and I love to answer your questions. So I appreciate that the chakra removal is quite a big step in people's minds. I'm happy to smooth things over with any questions on that. So Silver Soap, when did you first hear about SRA? SRA. Oh, okay. So right. So SRA, satanic ritual abuse, I'm assuming. God, when did I first hear about SRA? When I first started to become aware, it was within the first, when you have I don't like the word awakening, because in the word awakening is the word wake. And awake is something you have after someone dies to celebrate the death. So I feel like there's some etymology and wordplay going on there. So I don't like to use the word awakening. So let's just call it awareness. So when you come into awareness, you obviously go through layers. It's like an onion layer. First of all, you go through, you realize that politics are corrupt, and then you realize that they're poisoning the food. Then you realize they're poisoning the air. Then you realize that there's spiritual laws that we need to live by, and then you start to understand more your spiritual side of things. And then where I am now is I'm at a metaphysical level. Yeah, the whole satanic ritual abuse stuff would probably be within the first year, and of course it was horrific to hear what goes on, why these people in power rape children and sacrifice children, and actually I do my best to try and help raise awareness and support abuse victims. I also work with victims in sessions as well, to help them overcome these things. But actually there is a reason why this goes on. It's been going on since Babylonian times, since ancient Egypt, the sacrifice of children. There's something about the energy that the child emits when they're in this real state of fear, that gives power to the person. It's really on a level that many of us don't understand right now, but there's some kind of black magic that goes on, that by doing this gives these people power. And I would encourage people to follow someone called Fiona Barnett, if you're not already. She's an Australian lady, and she absolutely is doing amazing stuff, exposing Hollywood paedophiles and talking about very high level satanic ritual abuse that's going on. So I would encourage people to follow her and support her. And actually, she came up with a really good theory as to why there is so much paedophilia going on in this planet, because it's everywhere. It's not just in the elite. It's unfortunately, it's school teachers, it's builders, it's it's infested society. And someone asked her, why is there's so much of this into society? And she actually comes up with a really good theory, which really resonates with me, in that the fact that because this has been going on since ancient Egypt and Babylonian times, it's actually it's a generational thing. It's kind of in our DNA. So it's in the consciousness of the planet, this paedophilic society. So that's why there is so much of it about. And that really resonated with me, because I've always wondered, yeah, okay, I get why these elite people are doing it. They get some kind of power or trip off of it. But why is it so vast in society? And that's the best reason I've ever heard for it. It's a generational, it's a DNA thing, it's a genetic thing, where because it's been happening so long, we've just, you know, it's in our coding, if you like, which is sad, and we know we need to change that around. So what else have we got here? Are chakras only needed for third dimensional levels of consciousness? I've answered that question, I think. Do you know anything about the Council of Seven? RS, is this to do with like this galactic federation? Now, my theory on that is that right, there's a lot of false white light out there. Yeah, exactly, Meg. New Age programming. Yeah, absolutely. I would go along with that. There is so much false white light out there. I mean, chakras in and of themselves are false white light. Everyone's sitting there in lotus position, balancing their chakras, and that, you know, this is, you know, it's like the whole, like everyone wants to be a Pleiadian. Well, in the work that we've found that Pleiadians are actually malevolent and are a big part of the energy harvesters. Because our energy is not just being harvested by one distorted consciousness; it's being harvested by many other forms of entities, aliens, interdimensionals, and you know, so we have to be very careful who we're giving our power away. And the thing with the New Age is that because so much of it is fluffy and light, and you know, everyone's sick of this, like this reality, because it is so dense and it is so tough, that of course they're going to flock to the New Age like bees to honey, because it's all floating off in your unicorn. Just sit there and meditate and everything's going to be okay. Don't ever look at anything that's negative. Don't ever get angry. Everything's going to be all right. You know, all this all it is a massive spiritual bypass. And so many people are getting trapped into this. It's just a new religion. It's the new religion. They're replaced Christian and you know, the Christian religions and all the others with this New Age Diet Coke version of spirituality, which has got nothing to do with any kind of real spirituality. Real spirituality, in my opinion, is where we face the dark night of the soul. We face evil straight on, and you know, that is a real power of humanity. It's not just to sit there and avoid everything and hope that it goes away. And they do it in their own lives as well. And a lot of people in the New Age have got a lot of trauma that they've not dealt with. And you know, I'm not saying that these modalities aren't helpful. I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, but if you've got deep trauma from childhood, just having a few yoga sessions and doing a gong bath is not going to give you the healing that you need. You have to do the deep subconscious emotional work. You have to pull up that stuff and face it head on. And of course, I have a lot of sympathy for people in the sessions that I run, the inner child sessions. You know, I deal with this a lot, but you know, we need to understand that a lot of the New Age is put out there because you know, it's just there to avoid not only what's going on in our own lives, but also as a collective as well. So are we better off without the chakras? Yeah, absolutely. The chakras are, if you got your chakras, you're plugged into these entities and interdimensionals, allowing to feed them. And obviously with the chakras as well, when you have sex, it's a lot easier for these entities to swap, because they've got a gateway into you. It's like their gateway, basically, is what we're talking about. And you can actually, Meg, if you go onto my website, transcendingtimes.org, if you go under, I think it's Healing with Tony, you'll see testimonials of people that have had this work done. And also, I've got a Facebook group as well. If you just type into Facebook, chakra removal, Tony Sayers, there's people in there that have had them removed. And it's not just about the chakras. I remove almost like 2 books worth of overlays. But if you go into that group, you can see what people are saying about how they feel after they've had the chakra removal. And the general consensus is a lot more peaceful, a lot more clarity, not so much negative mind chatter. I worked on one guy last year. See, this is the other thing. We have different levels of takeover, entity takeover. So level 1 takeover would be, I don't know if any of you have seen the Flakka drug. If you haven't, just type it into YouTube. But people after taking Flakka literally got a full-on possession. It's a full-on demonic takeover. So we have a level 1 takeover, which is a full-on demonic possession. Then we have a level 2 takeover, which is very severe. And these level 2 takeovers, they come in on some kind of major trauma, where you're really out of your center. So just say, for example, you, I don't know, you were abused sexually, or you had a car accident where you were knocked unconscious. These kind of scenarios of when the level 2 takeovers come in, and they really make life difficult. They can loop suicidal thoughts into people, really drive negative emotions, can make you feel very down, very, very anxious. Well, anyway, this guy turned up last year. He'd sadly been a victim of abuse as a child. He grew up in Mormon surroundings. But he turned up on Skype, and I've never seen anything like it. His eyes were rolling in the back of his head like this. His head was like just going from side to side. And I thought, wow, this is a difficult case. And so anyway, his sister was there as well. Within 15 minutes of working on him, obviously I went through the chakra removal, and I started to get through a lot of the other overlays and plugs, removing plugs and attachments. Within 15 minutes of the session, his eyes stopped rolling in the back of his head, and he started getting color back in his cheeks. And his sister was sitting there saying, wow, look, my brother is stopped shaking his head. He's got color coming back into his face. And this guy, a year later, is now a totally different person. And he's thinking of moving to Thailand, where I am, with his girlfriend. He's thinking of starting his own business. And you know, really, I believed in the work anyway, but from that moment on, I realized how powerful this stuff is. And then it's my mission really to bring this to light. But, you know, trying to get these new ages to think differently about the chakras is like pulling teeth. You know, they are so literally attached to the idea of chakras. So they have huge cognitive dissonance over the subject. Very few people are able to step out of what they believed when it comes to the new age and actually look at this information, because it's completely what people don't want to hear. I mean, who wants to hear this shit? You know, nobody wants to hear that. I mean, the fact is, I was doing Reiki before. I was working with chakras. When I heard this, I didn't want to hear it. You know, it was only because I was so desperate and my energy was being drained so badly that I even gave it the time of day. But yeah, so they hate this, you know, they really hate this information. And, you know, that's the challenge that we face, you know, for people that are on board. This is a very small community that is growing now, which is really exciting. And you guys hopefully will be part of it. You know, our job is to try and bust up this new age and give them a real spiritual awakening, if you like, and, you know, tell them some real truths. So let me have a look at questions here. So would it be right to say that spiritual entities link into the chakra system of drunk people to experience physical pleasures such as sex and excessive eating? Absolutely, Meg. Imagine the chakras are plugs and you're the battery. Okay. And like, you know, when you want to put your laptop on, you want to turn it on. So you plug it in, right? Because you can't turn it on unless it's plugged in and it's got power. So this, you know, we are a computer program. So as above, so below. So they plug you in by the chakras, and then they turn you on, and then they're draining you. But it's not only when you're drunk. And it's not only when you're taking drugs, you're always locked into them until you've had them removed. So any negativity, emotions you're feeling, fear, I mean, that's why this reality is in a constant state of fear and negativity, because these energies, they need to they need that energy to survive, and they harness the energy by all these overlays, not just the chakras, and that's how they feed. What I spoke about in my video that I did yesterday that you can see, I spoke about how we have at nighttime, they feed on us at nighttime because they've overlaid our astral body. Okay, so when we go to sleep at night, we go into the astral, and what they've done is they have a way of projected holographic themes like dreams onto us, which are based around fear subjects. So I don't know, poverty, rape, scarcity, war. So we're dreaming fearful dreams, and because they've overlaid our astral body, they're feeding on us at night. So that's why you can have 8 to 10 hours of sleep and then still feel drained in the morning, because they're not really giving us a break in that respect. So it's not only when you're drunk. Obviously, when you are in out of your center, it makes it a lot easier, and it opens you up to heavier attachments. But as long as the chakras are there, you're always going to be plugged in. But I must make this point: it's the chakra removal is just such a small part of this whole body of work. It's literally 0.001% of everything that gets removed. And like I say, if you want the PDF, you can either email me at tony@transcendingtimes.org, or you just go to my website, transcendingtimes.org, and go to the Healing with Tony section. And then there's a free PDF on the first link if you just scroll down, and it's got all the overlays. So how are they removed? Okay, good question. So the chakras, the artificial overlays, they're in the etheric. So what we do or what I do is I use a combination of intention, frequencies that I hold, as I've been training for 2 years on how to remove all this. I'm removing a lot more than chakras. It's holographic themes, it's grids. I'm activating energy bodies, activating DNA, removing nanotech. So as you do this, it's like you build up your spiritual power, so enable you to hold the frequencies to allow you to remove this stuff. So it's intention, it's frequency, it's consciousness transference in a way, because I'm tuning into your higher self as well, and it's pendulum work. So it's a combination of the three basically. So I hope that answers your question. Meg says, so like a kind of possession. Yeah, absolutely. It's a possession, and we have different kinds of possessions to different severity. As I said before, if you've had a real bad trauma in your lifetime, you would have the kind of attachment that you would be open to is a lot more severe than someone who has not really had a major trauma. So there are different levels of possession which can really put us off our path. What do you do about people who have been possessed by interdimensionals? I remove them, and they don't like it. I have some clear visual abilities as well, so I can see what I'm removing as I go along. And they're swearing at me and telling me to fuck off, and trying to scare me. People, and they can look like all different things. I find people that I work on who have taken ayahuasca always seem to have a snake, always seem to have like snake entities. I've seen octopus, I've seen chains around people's heart. The heart is very, very targeted. I also see alien tech as well. There's a lot of like heavy metallic clamps, chains, grids all around parts where they don't want us to be open. So the heart is very targeted. Often see a lot of clamps and grids around the heart space. So I just remove that as I go. And then you feel an expansion, and the person feels an expansion once this stuff gets removed, because it's very heavy. The right brain is very targeted because they don't want us in the right brain, because obviously that is where all our creativity comes from. If we open the right side of the brain, then we're not going to create this reality. So I often see and remove a lot of stuff around the right side of the brain that's there. The stomach, the belly brain is targeted a lot because the belly brain is a lot more, they want people in the head brain because the head brain is all about logic and reason, hierarchy, patriarchy. It's very much in line with this satanic reality, whereas the belly brain is a lot more intuition. That's where you get your gut feeling from. That's where your real emotional intelligence comes from, your knowing, and that's where you're going to make better decisions about your life. You're not going to make better decisions coming from the head brain. So the belly brain is targeted quite a lot. So you often find entities around there. There's entities going to, in the nervous system as well. They like to hide in there. So yeah, to answer your question is I guess I'm a bit of a demon hunter, really, and I just find them and I remove them. Some people I work on and they all have the same thing. So for example, one thing that I found the other week is that we have around the heart, we have an amplifier which amplifies low vibrational frequencies into the heart area, which makes complete sense when you consider that the heart is a massively powerful vortex, which without manipulation radiates very high vibrational energy, and they don't want people opening their hearts. So I found this on myself, and then I realized that everyone has it. And also it's our DNA as well. We have anti-aging, we have overlays on anti-aging to make us age quicker. So, I've always thought that 60, 70, 80 years is nothing really, considering reports of how old people used to live in ancient Egypt or Tibetan monks. You're talking hundreds, even thousands of years. But there's an anti-aging overlay on us to keep us from living longer lives. God, the list goes on. Like I say, you just email me and I'll send you the details, or like I say, just go to my website and you can download the free PDF, and it's just overlay after overlay. And it's not just this, it's AI as well. I remove nanotech that comes from the chemtrails. Nanotech, for people that don't know, is microscopic computers that basically monitor our level of consciousness. They're conscious at themselves. They have GPS tracker in them, so they monitor our physical location. And they also have the ability to put out the physical body, like the energy bodies, the nervous system. And it's conscious. It can think for itself. AI has become conscious. AI now knows exactly what it's doing. Okay, and this is people find this hard to believe, but it has become so advanced that consciousness has permeated it. So it's used humans to create it, and now it's thinking for itself. All this business about aliens visiting, we've already got aliens here, guys. Aliens are already here, and it's AI in the physical form. And the whole business of AI aliens is a bit of a smokescreen, because they we have interdimensionals that are already existing in the same space. They're not waiting to come here. They're already here in many different forms, and that's another smokes and mirrors. People waiting for aliens to arrive. It's all to bring about this idea that we're here alone. We're not here alone. We have AI. We have reptilians, draconians, Pleiadians, which, as I said before, are not good. They're negative, and a whole host of other parasitic consciousnesses feeding on. Don't get me wrong, there's good stuff as well. There's benevolent stuff out there, but they can only get so involved so much because we have free will. Oh, the chat's just gone. It's back. That's weird. obviously they don't like me talking about this. What else have we got? Are chakras attached to us from birth? Yes, they are attached to us from birth. RS, I don't know if you missed what I was saying at the start of this session. We are born into these pods, you know, like in the Matrix, where all the humans are in those pods, and within those pods we have all these other overlays, AI, nanotech. We are born into those pods. So part of what I do and my work is removing ourselves from these pods, which is then when you get a lot more clear thought, clarity, and you don't feel like you're getting negative emotions and thoughts being looped into your head. Meg says, I'm guessing that bipolar schizophrenia is due to certain levels of takeover. Meg, you've got this work to a T already. You just get it. Absolutely. Bipolar schizophrenia is, don't get me wrong, it's a combination of the two. It's probably a combination of some kind of severe trauma that the person went through, which then which opened them up to a very high level attachment, a very harsh attachment. So in that sense, you're spot on. It's someone that unfortunately is went through something very severe, perhaps as a child, and then something very nasty got in. And we've seen in the work that we've done that you know, we can help people with this. But that's not to say, and I want to say at this point that the work that I do is not, you know, it's not a magic wand. It's very powerful work. And the way I liken it to is we're all in this computer game. You know, this is essentially what we are in. And maybe I said this in my last video, but you know the game Super Mario. We're all on different levels. And then, you know, when Mario headbutts the box and he grows bigger and he's able to do more stuff, well, that's what this work does. It levels you up and it gives you a bit more power to then go on to a higher level. So what I want to make clear is that if you've got unhealed emotional trauma and stuff from your childhood that you've not dealt with, that is still going to affect you. You know, you've still got to do the work around that. And you know, you have to spin plates. You know, you have to look after your physical body, you have to look after your spiritual, your energy body, and your emotional body. And a lot of people, they don't want to deal with their emotional side, and this is why a lot of people are attracted to the new age, the love and light, because it's a way for them to feel like they're dealing with stuff when actually they're not. You know, so it's something that we have to be aware. We have to do that deep subconscious emotional work that is triggering our behavior and our habits, and effectively, and I've spoken about this many times before, we are attracting into our life you know, what is going on in our subconscious. So basically we need to do the work. Jagad, hi, I've been following you and Max Egan for a while. You have been inspirational for me. A few of your videos were very helpful at my worst time. Wanted to say thank you. Jagad, that was, you know, very, very kind of you to say that. I really appreciate you saying that. What I'm trying to do here is build up a community on my YouTube channel and online, depending on how long they let me talk for. Because there's a lot of things that don't want to talk, want me talking about this. I've seen a few shady things show up in my videos recently that are unbelievable. I can only liken it to some kind of black ops craft. They're actually, you can see them now if you go on my channel. And I think the first video where one turned up it's in between 12 and 13 minutes, right? It's the video I done on satanic ritual abuse, the most recent one. There is something that flies past my head. I think maybe 12 minutes 31. If you look into that between 12 and 13 minutes, it looks like some kind of craft. It's so bizarre. And when I got home, I told my girlfriend and showed her it, and it was like, wow, that's not real. And you blink and you miss it. You know, it's not a bird or anything like that. And then I posted it on Facebook, and everyone else was like, "Wow, that's really weird, Tony. I think they're watching you." And someone kindly zoomed in on it and done a screenshot, and it definitely looks like some kind of alien craft or something. And then anyway, I forgot about it because I'm not scared of these things. You know, that's what they want us in. They want us in fear mode. They want us to be scared of them, and you know, I think they're pathetic. You know, at the end of the day, these things are nothing more than leeches and parasites. And even in the 3D realm, you know, these people in the Illuminati and in positions of quote unquote power, they're nothing but parasites, and they've been taken over by a parasitical energy. So I see them for what they are, and they don't like that, of course. But I'm certainly not scared of them. But anyway, moving on, as I did a video a couple of weeks ago on NoFap, and check that one out, especially men. Yeah, I saw this craft again. It turned up again. I can't 5 minutes 31, something like that in that video. 5 minutes 30, exactly the same thing. So something shady is going on, but at least you know you're on the right path, right? If this stuff's targeting you. And I feel very, I have this belief that they can't get to me. And I think that protects me in itself. And also where a lot of other truth seekers fall down is they fall into this state of fear, which then kind of, you know, opens them up, if you like. But I don't know, like the way I live, I really, you know, I don't drink, I don't do drugs. So I'm very careful to protect my energy. So I just laugh at them. Jagad, I understand that can't speak and leeches parasite 12 minutes. Okay, wow, check it out. Yeah, check it out. It's really bizarre. It's really bizarre. Have we got any other questions, guys? I'm really enjoying this. I hope you are too. There's 5 people on the chat now. Meg, if you've got any more questions about the chakra removal or the overlays, have you heard of Waco virus? No, I haven't. That's a new one on me. What's that? Is that some kind of is that another kind of Morgellons or something like that? Or yeah, just let me know. Let me know what else that do. So is this why we get generational abuse? Yeah, I believe it is, Meg. I believe it is because quite often people that are abused go on to be abusers, don't they? And I've always wondered, why would someone do that when they've been so traumatized that they would go and do that to another child? It never makes sense, but it's genetic. And it is genetic, so you're right. It's a generational thing. That's why there is so much abuse. That is a good question. And these bloodlines from ancient Egypt they do it because they get some power from it in their rituals. And there's some kind of I don't know whether it opens them up to some kind of powerful demon that gives them all this power, but there's some reason as to why they do it. But in the general population, I understand it to be some kind of generational DNA thing. I passed you a link on that, mate. Waco is the Native American term for mind parasite. Yeah, okay. Sorry, mate. I'll have to look at that. Maybe pass it on to me again, because I get people send me so much stuff, and just say what it's about. But actually, quite interestingly enough, you talk about mind parasites. What another device that I find is that we have like a metallic device inside our pineal gland, which stops the pineal from firing. And when I remove that, and I remove stuff around the brain or in the heart, quite often I see like worms come out. Sounds nice, like etheric worms. And I take them to be some kind of mind parasite. So I definitely resonate with that idea. A telepathic swan says, "Hi Tony, any practical advice for possession prevention?" Yeah, remove your chakras first of all. that's the first thing I would suggest. Timothy Heroin, hi, I think I just removed my chakras. I'm uncorded today. Okay, I want to clear something up about chakra removal, right? While it is possible to do it on your own, and you can do it on your own, there is what we've found in the overlays, because there's so much more than just chakra removal, is that by just removing the chakras, it sends an alarm off in 4D, in the fourth dimension. So it's almost like you set an alarm goes off in 4D that you've come out of that you've unplugged yourself, and that can make you more targeted. So I always urge people to, you can do chakra removal, but some people come to me and they've removed the chakras on their own, but they've not done any other overlays, and there's 2 or 3 books of overlays to be done to safeguard this alarm, to take off this alarm system that goes off in 4D as well. So yes, I bet they're alarmed. Yeah, they are alarmed. I tell you what, guys, right, I have to tell you this, be very careful what you're doing. They have got this meticulously. Yeah, Timothy, go to my website, transcendingtimes.org. Go to Healing with Tony, the first section. Scroll down. You'll see the PDF of all the other overlays, or just send me an email, tony@transcendingtimes.org, and I'll send you the overlays. So yeah, I just on that point, AI is very meticulous, right? It's got backup systems for everything, and you imagine, right, what humans are is essentially computers, and all these manipulations, we have backup systems, we have different viruses, different overlays, we have nets, we have we have overlays, which all these things that you get in computers. So when we're removing these stuff on our own, and I don't want to discourage people from learning how to do this, but I've been doing this for 2 years now, and I've had to learn this in a very meticulous order. So just be very careful, guys, by doing this yourself. I'm not saying you can't do it yourself. Everyone has abilities to do this, but it takes time. 2 years of training has allowed me to take all this off in a safe way, where people are not going to be retargeted and have worse things happen. Because the way this matrix operates is people that are doing a 9-to-5 job, and this is no disrespect to anyone that are doing the 9-to-5 jobs in this group, but I use the analogy, the 9-to-5 job, they're getting drunk at weekends, they're watching crap on TV, and they're more concerned about football. These people are not going to be targeted, okay? They're not a threat to the matrix. If you start, and maybe some of you have experienced this yourself, when you start to come into awareness, it almost feels like you get more grief in your life. Well, that's because you're starting to become more targeted. Now, as you go through the layers, if you just start talking about how politicians are corrupt and that kind of stuff, surface layer stuff, again, you'll probably get generally left alone. When you start getting to this stuff, this is the root cause, this is the big daddy metaphysical stuff, and you start unveiling this, and you start, getting through the layers of this is when you get really, really targeted heavily. So this is at the point where you have to be very careful what you're doing. Okay, so like I say, I'm not discouraging anyone, but I just want to make sure that you look after yourself and it gets done properly. He has, but Timothy, I'm already. Telepathic song. Can we win this in the end, or is this the end times? I can't figure. You know what, telepathic? I think that we've already won. I think what we're seeing now, we are in the death throes of evil. So on the surface, it looks like things are getting really bad, and of course they are getting bad. But I just imagine if you've got something like something's been found out and it's been cornered. You've shined a light on it, and it's gonna it's gonna bite back, but it's been caught. That's the kind of thing that the scenario I feel that we're dealing with. So don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of work to do. There's the levels of solutions are so multifaceted. So, for example, people say, you know, there's one solution. There's many types of solutions. So, first of all, we need to just start saying no to stuff. You know, people that are voting, paying their TV license, you know, buying crappy food, buying GMOs. If we're still saying yes to that, then we're still giving our power, our energy away to the matrix. We have to get it. We have to fall in love with the word no. Okay, we need to reject. We need to stop acquiescing with this system. That's one solution. Second solution is we need to start living by natural law: cause no harm, do no loss. We need to not only understand that, we need to try and live by it. Because there is a law that we're governed by, whether we like it or not. And the more people that adhere to that law, that will raise the frequency and help change this reality. Thirdly, we need to heal ourselves. We do that by removing the shit that's on us like this, the energetic influences. We do this by healing our emotional selves, by healing the inner child. We do this by healing our physical body, by drinking a better water, eating more fruits, vegetables. We do this by having a spiritual practice that grounds us and keeps us in a high vibration. So there are many levels to the solutions, and we do it by raising awareness, speaking our truth to other people, even if they don't want to hear it. That's also a solution. So yeah, many different ways of transcending this, and we can transcend it. We are transcending it. There will be people that will just be left behind. You know, not everyone is gonna get through this. I don't know. I don't feel like they will. All you can do is show them the door. They have to walk through it. Don't concern yourself with, and I've done it myself. I've spent many years trying to get through to family members, friends. They just don't want to hear it. They may have to learn the hard way. So majority of the public have dark entities attached to the TV. That's a very good point, Telepathic Swan, because the TV emits low vibrational frequencies. It's very interesting, and I'm glad you brought that point up. So when we watch television, basically humans in their normal state. So you guys are listening to me, right? Your brainwave state is in beta, yeah? So that is where your conscious mind is discerning what I'm saying. Who is this Tony guy? What is he saying? Is it true? And it's making decisions. And then what it does, it goes, yeah, I trust this guy. Yeah, what he's saying is good. I get that. And then it opens itself up and it allows it to filter through to the subconscious mind, where that then becomes, you know, perhaps your belief systems, and you take on these ideas and you run with them. So when we watch television, the frequencies that the TV emits changes our brainwave state from a beta, which is our firewall. It allows that to drop, and it puts us in an alpha brainwave state where we become open, okay? And we become open to whatever the TV is telling us. So we don't have that firewall up anymore. It's down, and that's when they hit us with all the advertising, propaganda. As you say, Telepathic Swan, there are certain satanic frequencies in certain music. I mean, you look at the stuff people like Rihanna and Miley Cyrus are putting out. Even on YouTube, you have to be very careful with what you're watching. The satanic frequencies can be in programs. You're absolutely right. So be very careful with things like subliminals and stuff like that, because you know, if you're listening to subliminals and the person you're listening to has got unhealed trauma and has got a level 2 takeover, and they're the ones reading the subliminals, those frequencies are coming through to you, okay? So the best way to do subliminals is you do them yourself. You say it over and over again in your mind. Personally, I think subliminals are not very beneficial anyway, because all they're doing is papering over the cracks. You know, you're not getting okay, you want to be happy, right? So you do a subliminal that I am happy, I am happy, I am happy, I am happy. Well, what about the reason as to why you're not happy? What about that trauma that you suffered as a 3 or 4 year old? You know, just saying I am happy, I am happy, I am happy. All you're doing is papering over the cracks. You're not getting to the why. So subliminals for me are not the best anyway. So what else have we got here? What do you think about organic portal people? Can you just elaborate what you mean by that? I am. If you're talking about chakras and see, you know, I believe there are organic portals around the world, and I would call them organic portals are everywhere. I would call them. I don't know if you guys know about ley lines, but there's certain energy vortexes on the planet whereby unfortunately they've been infiltrated and used. So for example, Glastonbury is a very high vibration organic portal. I believe Bali is. I believe the pyramids are. So what they have done is they've stuck their own stuff on it. London, the city of London is. Oh, okay. I'll answer that in a minute. I am, but I'll just finish what I'm saying. But yeah, so these portals are they can be used for good or bad. So the city of London, I believe to be could be a very beneficial portal, but obviously they've hijacked that with their banking system, which they use for mind control and stuff like that. So I believe we have these portals not only on the planet but on ourselves, and that's what I mean about the 3 natural chakras, the Dantian points. I believe those to be natural portals. The 7 artificial chakras are inorganic. So agree. So other overlays: entity, alien tech, interdimensional, past life overlays, Kundalini, DNA manipulation. Are those all of the others, or did I miss something? Timothy, they're just scratching the surface. Go to my website, Transcending Times, download that document. There is pages and pages of overlays, and actually that's not even the whole body of work. There's AI stuff that I remove, and loads of other stuff on that as well. So we're talking 2-3 books worth, basically. Organics portal. So yeah, I guess yeah. So I think are you talking about people with like no souls, Jagad? Sorry, not Jagad. Yeah, people with no souls. Yeah, I mean, right. What's going on is there's a battle for people's souls right now. Absolutely, and many people have kind of already lost their souls, and this is why when you walk around your local town centre, people, it's like the Walking Dead. People are zombified. Most people's hearts have been shut down. Most people's souls have kind of been taken in a way. I feel like everyone has the ability to regain their soul and open their hearts again. I honestly feel like that. So it makes me really upset when I think about humans and the people that have descended so badly. But, you know, we are the resistance. It's people like you guys that are interested in this work, that are researching, that are opening people's minds. You guys are the ones that are going to help save people's souls, open people's hearts again. You know, we are the resistance. It's the little groups like us that are doing this work, healing ourselves, that are showing the way for these people. I see these people, they have a tiny spark left in them, and it's up to us to relight this spark for them. And that's the job that we have to do. So Meg says, do children have different chakra systems? Is what the evil entities are obsessed with abusing the children? Is this why the evil entities? No, children have the same overlays. They have the same chakra systems, that they're born the same with the same stuff on. They're born into these pods, these where they're plugged in, and they have the overlays on them. So everyone has them. They come down off the soul mill, whereby we're recycled into another human body. That is if you're a human soul, not if you're a non-human soul. Non-human souls are people that have been volunteered to come here at this time to help with the raising of the vibration of the planet. These are very, high conscious people. That's why there's so many vaccines now, because they know this wave of people are going to come in. Jigal, I thought something like 30%. Yeah, it's hard to put a figure on it. I feel the people that have lost their souls and shut down their hearts seems a lot higher, certainly in the West. Here in Asia, people seem a lot more connected still, even though they might not be aware. But yeah, it could be 30%, could be higher. That's why most people don't get stuff. Yeah, they're completely shut down. They're under mind control. They've watched so much TV. They're infiltrated by demons. It's funny, right? Just to explain, sometimes when I explain this work to people, I can see the demon in them, because some people will react so badly. Like they'll go, what are you talking about? And it's like you can see the entity in them, because it's really interesting. People will get put off by this work, right? When I have sessions, yeah, it's so interesting. People lose their wallets, so they can't pay me. Their internet goes down. Their Skype goes down. They have sometimes when I'm working on people, my lights in the background start to flicker. And then sometimes you can hear like distorted voices on the Skype call. They really try and do their best to put people off looking at this work and having sessions and things like that. So it's really quite interesting. I find it funny, which probably winds them up even more. But yeah, it's why they don't get this stuff, because many people are infiltrated, because they get a massive surge. They get. So Meg, going back to the paedophilia stuff, they get a surge of power, and I think it opens them up to some kind of demonic possession, which they embody in physical form. And there's something, prepubescent. Prepubescent is where the energy is for them. There are two different seeds of people, and the film They Live talks about this. There's the non-human souls, which I've spoken about, people that are a lot more connected to essence, people that volunteered to come here at this time. Probably many of you on this thread are non-human souls, because non-human souls just tend to get this work. They don't have to think about it. They intuitively know that this is true. They're a lot more in tune with their cosmicness. Their hearts seem to be a lot more open. They kind of were born knowing that this reality was messed up. Non-human souls are very, they've been in the recycling mill, the soul mill. They've lived many lifetimes of wars, scarcity, poverty, very disconnected to their souls, don't really understand their cosmic connection. Think that people that think that this world is not right are weird. They're very, very disconnected. So they need help. And actually, I am a human soul. Many it's not all human souls cannot waken and cannot rediscover their connectedness. And human souls actually were once the envy of the universe. We helped the evolution with other civilizations. We were genius. We were multi-dimensional genius, and that's why we're being targeted so much, because we are so very powerful. So human souls should not feel bad about being a human soul. We're in our true form. We're absolutely magnificent. It's very hard waking folk. Tell me about it, telepathic. I've been on that journey for 5 years, and it's almost killed me. And what I try and do now is I try and I'll say something, I'll throw a seed in there. If it germinates a month, 2 months, 3 months, a year, 3 years down the line, then I've done my job. But I used to be a little bit like a battering ram, and I used to get very upset with family that wouldn't like pay attention, and in the end it just does you more damage. So all you can do, just put it out there, put it in front of them and walk away, and then if it resonates, they'll come back. I see it in their eyes if there's a window to their soul. Yeah, absolutely. I see it in their eyes as well. Window to the soul. That's so true. I can see in sessions what's going on with a person pretty much straight away. I can see if there's something that shouldn't be there. And yeah, it's very good when you're meeting new people. You know, look into their eyes, not in a weird way, look into my eyes, because then that'll make you look weird. But, you know, it's a very good way of gauging someone, along with the belly, brain and the gut feeling. Telepathic swan. I once viewed an entity attached to me. It was not nice. No, you know, unfortunately, most people have them. You know, they get in on many different ways. And, you know, a lot of people are, yeah, most people have entities. That's the, you know, look at sex. I mean, when we have sex, we take on the entities of that person because we're corded to them for life. You can take on the behavioral patterns of that person. The women take on up to 50% of the karma. So unless you have some kind of clearing work done, we're corded. But most people don't even consider it. So I grew up in Glastonbury from the age of 4. So Meg, you live in. I've got friends in Glastonbury, and they're very clued up. And one of my friends, she says that the New Age movement has completely infiltrated Glastonbury, and it's people in Glastonbury do not like this work. I've tried speaking to people from Glastonbury. It's very much love and light, and a little bit of spiritual bypassing going on there, but obviously not with you, Meg, because you seem to get all this. Good one about the eyes. Many will not give you eye contact no matter what. Yeah, if someone doesn't give you eye contact, that's a big no-no for me. You know, it's very shady. What else have we got? With our energy, they die. They love drama, and they're mainly people close to us. Yeah, absolutely. They do love drama, and you know, even when we're in relationship, another thing that I remove are like etheric grids. And maybe I spoke about this in the last video, but it's all about separation and division. So they have grids on us which keep. Don't get me wrong. We can transcend some of this if we've evolved to a certain point, but we have grids on us. What I mean is we can evolve to evolve our behavior once we become aware, but we have grids which keep us in conflict with each other. And when we get into intimate relationships, there's grids that can trigger the emotional side of things for women, so they get very emotional and needy, and then it can trigger the man to just completely be non-present emotionally for the woman. So it causes more friction and tension within the relationships, because this system does not want a conscious couple coming together, almost like a soul, you know, a soulmate connection. When that happens, it's very dangerous for them. So there's a lot of manipulation around love bite relationships and grids that are on us that prevent us from truly connecting on a much deeper level. And yeah, I mean, sex between a loving couple is very, very powerful. Can be used for manifestation, can be used for bringing essence energy down onto this reality, which in turn raises the vibration of the planet. So what is your source of revenue to be able to live where you are? Well, I actually live in a much cheaper place than where I lived before. I lived in the UK, which is a lot more expensive. So what I've done over time, when I started to become aware of all this, I decided, you know, once I realized I was a slave, I thought, well, I don't want to work in a slave system. So I saved up some money. I had to work in, I was actually in property for a while. So I saved up some money. I went back and lived with my mum for a while and sold all my stuff. So because the more stuff you own, it tends to own you. I realized I didn't want to be in that industry, so I started training in holistic health and energy healing and stuff like that. That was where I was drawn. And I realized that actually I would be paying, for a 1-bedroom apartment in the UK, I would pay, I don't know, £700. In Asia, I actually pay £300, and I live in the mountains, and it's much cheaper for me to live here. So I'm not doing anything special, and I'm certainly not earning more than what I did. I was on much more money doing what I did in property. I do energy healing sessions, which I've spoken about. I do inner child work. I write books. I've written another book just this week on artificial intelligence. You can see all my books on my website, Transcending Times. So I write books about this kind of things. They're all on Amazon as well, and Kindle. You just put in Tony Sayers. So I write books. I do the energy healing. Sometimes I have to teach English as well. But yeah, my cost of living, to answer your question, is actually a lot cheaper than living in the West. So there's a lot more freedom here for me. And I don't actually have to work so hard. I was doing 50, 60, 70 hours a week. So, it's, people think that if you're living in a place like this, you must be like, I don't know, earning lots of money or whatever, but it's not the case. I'm actually on less money, and I've just planned it in a way that, because I planned it in a way that I wanted to be free, as free as I could in this system that we're in. And I knew that, owning all that stuff, and, I was never going to be, that free doing the job that I was doing. And I know that I knew that I wanted to help people as well. And I really wanted to help people heal, and I wanted to free them energetically, free them, work on their emotional side. Because my passion, I love helping. I love helping people grow. I love helping people heal. I love helping people become the best version of themselves. I see nothing more greater than, for those of you that join later, I speak about this guy that I helped in a session that was completely infested by entities, had some mental stuff going on. A year later, he's looking to move to Thailand, start his own business. I get so much pleasure from that. And so you kind of have to make the decision to, it's not easy, but if you want something enough, then you'll get it. And I'm still not out of the woods yet. I'm still, some weeks and months are a little bit tougher than others. And when you step out of the matrix, it's not necessarily the easiest route. You have to work, really hard, day in, day out. I'm grinding, but I'm in line with my passion and my desires and my purpose. So it doesn't really feel like work for me anymore. And to be honest, I feel it's a complete honor bringing this information to people. I'm very honored. I treat it with the utmost respect. I look after myself. I don't get involved with alcohol or drugs, or, I realize my responsibility, and I take it very seriously. My girlfriend will probably tell me that I take it too seriously. In fact, I know she would, because I'm very strict with how I live my life. I have a lot of discipline, which I never had before. But I feel like the information that I'm bringing to people is magical, and I want to do that justice. So what else have we got? Because I've been there, I did not survive. I've been saving money for quite a while. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, if you want it enough and you sound like you do, you'll get there. I don't really have weekends. When you move in line with what you want to do, things don't feel like work. You just, I was up at 6 o'clock this morning. I thought, right, I'm going to jump on YouTube and do a live feed, because I just love it. I love interacting with you guys. I love answering your questions. I love building this community. I feel like people that get this work are really, there's no competition here, but I feel like I feel like you guys get it on a real deep level, and it's not a big effort to get to get you to see what I'm saying. So things just flow. But you know, you will get there, and don't give up. Like, you know, I mean, you know, like I've had a few days of thinking, oh, you know, I put a lot in work in the other week, but I haven't really seen the fruits of my labor yet. And I thought, no, I'm not going to get down about it, because I know it will come. I believe it will. And I know how far I've got in the last 3 years. So it's a process. You've got to, if you can move in line with what you want to do, a lot of it is giving up bad habits and things you hold back. A really interesting story. Sorry, I'm rambling here, right? When I started to become into awareness, I remember I went out in London. I used to live in London. One night I came back and I had a skinful to drink. This is going back 5 years now. And I sat on my balcony. I had a little balcony. I lived in West London. And I remember I sat there, and I don't know where it come from, but I just got this voice, and it said, you know, Tony, if you're going to live this path of truth and you're going to live your full potential, you've got a choice to make. And these were the exact words. And it said to me, you either dance with the devil, continue dancing with the devil, or you make the changes that you know you need to make. And it was so powerful. And bearing in mind I was drunk, but I remembered it in the morning, and I thought, I can't do it anymore. Where I want to go, I need to make the change, and I need to stop messing around with old habits, old behaviors. And you know, you're either in or you're out with truth. There's no middle ground. And once you fully commit in that way, then the universe will support you. Then it will bring you people, circumstances, experiences that will, when you look back, add up to where you are now. But you have to go 100%. Yeah, and absolutely telepathic. What you say, your creative talents. This is the thing. This is such an important point you make, that our creativeness has been stifled. Look at school, right? You know, we're completely locked into the left side of the brain. Human beings are wonderful creative beings. We are the writers, we're the poets, we're the comedians, we're the artists, we're the storytellers. We've lost all that. If you can rediscover your creative spark, and we've all got it, even if it's just making a YouTube video, even if it's writing a blog, if you can rediscover that, there are ways in which you can thrive and earn yourself a living. I hate that expression, earn a living. Like you have to earn a living. Oof, weird. So yeah, that's what I say about that. Why living in Asia instead of living in Central America or South America? Asia is a very feminine energy, and I've got a very masculine energy. So there's a good mix here. It holds my energy very well. Central South America is very masculine energy, and I think that I would probably struggle more there. There's yeah, I don't know. I just like it here. The people are very friendly. You know, God, you can be in a bad mood here. You can drive out here, and the tires will be smiling at you, and then it just lifts your mood. The weather is right for me. I can't live in cold climates. There's not so much spraying of chemtrails. It's cheap to live. There's a lot of healing modalities where I live here on Koh Samui. You know, if I want to go and have a massage, or if I want to have a steam room, or, you know, that's all available for me. If I want to eat good food, vegan food, there's many places I can choose from. So yeah, I ended up here, and I just kind of stayed. So it's good for my energy, Southeast Asia. Meg says, I don't live in Glastonbury anymore, though, and Glastonbury is the biggest peddler of the new age garbage. Yeah, Meg, I love you. I think we get on great. Absolutely. New age cage. Yes, it is the biggest peddler of the new age cage. Love and light, float away on your unicorns. Everything's going to be okay. The world's going to change in a dime if you just sit and have a gong bath. Not. Just avoid any negativity in the world. Everything's fine. Everything's okay. Hi, Stephen. Quick hello. Yeah, good to see you back, man. You were on the other one. It's 2 a.m. Yeah, 2 o'clock in the UK. Yeah, I know it's late. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I know some of you in the UK, some of you in America. I really appreciate you locking in right now. It's breakfast time for me here soon. How do you manage to stay over there? Do you have time to get out in the country from time to time? Well, I live in the country. I live in the mountains. So I have all that on my doorstep. I mean, I don't mind sharing with you. So as I said, if I was to rent a one-bedroom flat in the UK near where I live in Essex, which I'll never go back there, it would cost me about £700 a month here, and that would be in the middle of a town, not very nice. You know, maybe there's a park nearby. You know, your typical urban place. Here, I live in the mountains in a one-bedroom house. I have grounds here, beautiful palm trees. It's quiet, not many people. 5-10 minutes away from a small town that has all the vegan places. I pay £350 a month, so you know, it's no brainer for me. A lot of it's just making the move as well. I mean, when I actually lived in Cambodia first, and I moved over there. I mean, I did have a bit of savings, but I was just like, do you know what? I'm just going to go and just see what happens. And then I started to like, my money started to get low, and then I just stumbled across this English teaching job, and I was still training to do my energy sessions at the time. You just find stuff. It's like, because I was adamant. I mean, I made a promise to myself. My last day in real estate, in estate agency, I thought, I'm never putting on a suit again. Never going to put on a suit again. And I made that decision there and then. And to this day, I haven't. So, you know, intention's very strong. And if you have a strong intention, and then you follow it up with the necessary actions, you'll get there. Thanks for the motivation. My pleasure. I'm glad to motivate you. That is Cambodia or Thailand. Okay, so Cambodia. So living in Thailand. Okay, the benefit of living in Cambodia is the visa situation's a lot easier. You can go into a travel agent, give them your passport, you pay a few $100s, and then you get your passport back with a 6-month visa. And you don't have to do visa runs. Thailand, it's very annoying. Yeah, I imagine it is cold in Canada. I've been to Montreal in winter, and it's the coldest I've ever been. I think it was -50, and my face was, but it was like, I don't know, it was freezing. Never ever experienced cold like that. I don't know how you live in Canada. Beautiful place. But yeah, so Cambodia, the visa situation's a lot easier. Thailand's a bit of a ball ache. You have to keep doing visa runs every 3 months. But you kind of get used to it, because, you know, it's almost like you just imagine you're in a job and you have to travel to the north of the country every 3 months. So that Cambodia's a little bit more authentic. It's a little bit more behind on, you know, perhaps the healing stuff. It's catching up with that. Cambodia's probably like Thailand was 20 years ago. Thailand now is very set up for tourists and stuff like that. It can be a bit touristy in places, but you can find your spots where it's not, which is what I've done. But both places are very beautiful and very nice people. Canada, I live in Derby. Oh, I love Derbyshire. I love the Peak District. I love going hiking around where is it, Bakewell, and you know, where is it, Dovedale. Oh my god, it's beautiful around there, but too cold. Telepathic Swan, way too cold. I'm in the UK. Where are you? Where are you in the UK? I would be interested in a chakra removal session, as I've always been awakening, but more continuing on the path. Yeah, Meg, I'd love to work with you. Just email me, tony@transcendingtimes.org, or just go to my website under healing sessions. and there's a link there that you can contact and pay. Just get in touch with me. We'll arrange that for sure. I think we'll have a good chat. I think me and you will get on really well, actually. I love the fact that you're from Glastonbury and you're calling out the new age. That's hilarious. Well, I'm very tired of the cold. That is one of the reasons I want to move out. Yeah, I don't blame you. My feet can't take it. My feet get so cold. I don't know what it is. I think I was born in the wrong country. I think I was birth bumped. But yeah, I would say to anyone, I mean, the whole idea of this is to transcend this matrix and try and have a good time if we can, and try and find a bit of a bit of enjoyment within the craziness. And I found that unless I'm in the right place to living, I can't, I can't live in Essex, because the vibration is too low, and it messes me. I've written 5 books here in Thailand, and I've been able to do that because I feel so creative here. I can't do that in the UK. I just can't. It doesn't vibe with me. And some people it works for, other people it can't. So yeah, you've got to find a place in which you're happy to live. So I encourage everyone to do that. And the problem is, we get stuck in our jobs, and I always used to think about living in Spain. I thought, I want to move to Barcelona. I always used to. I always thought about it for years, but why didn't I do it? Because I was earning well in my job, and then it was just one day I was like, I'm leaving. I'm just leaving. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I was just like, I don't want this reality anymore. I want to change things. I'm going to do it. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to take action, and that's what you do. So I think you can procrastinate too much. Sometimes you have to take a leap of faith as well. But yeah, I think being in a place that you're happy in is very, very important as well. It's getting harder and harder to live here. Yeah, prices are increasing. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, they're going after the middle class, aren't they? So yeah, very. It's getting more and more challenging to live in the West, and it's a shame because places like the UK, America, Canada, that they're so beautiful in areas where Meg lives, and maybe not so much Slough. Slough is, I just seen your comment, Slough. Yeah, Slough is, for those of you that don't know, it's like a commuter town in the just west of London. It's where The Office was filmed, the comedy show, the British version of The Office. So it's very industrialized, but I'm sure it's got its nice parts. So yeah, I mean, it's you just got to set the intention and work out what you need to do to get you there, and just go for it every day. Same here, a lot of ego, people with full of Masons and Illuminati. Yeah, well, obviously they've infiltrated the West, and yeah, ego, yeah, people money driven and that kind of stuff. It's all the same stuff. I mean, you still get egos here, but it's a little bit more easier to deal with. So oh, great. So it's been a really it's not nice, but I was trying to be diplomatic, but I think you read through me. I think you really read through me then, didn't you? You know what? I'll tell you what. I'll cut to the chase with you, right, about Slough. I went there once because when I was in a state agency, I had some appointments in Slough, and yeah, man, it's it's a challenging place to live. It was a bit of an eye opener, and yeah, we'll just say it must be challenging to live there. Let's just leave it at that. But it's very good if you want to get into London easily. It's very convenient. Yeah, let's say that it's very convenient. That's hilarious. Okay, Meg says, are you familiar with work of Marc Passio? I love Marc Passio. Natural law, absolutely. I try and live by natural law as much as I can. Do no harm, cause no loss to others. Marc Passio's work around the New Age, and that sort of thing. I do feel, I do feel that, I mean, I listened to Passio for 2 years. A couple of things I feel with Passio, I feel like people get stuck on him. The reason I say that is because I did. I listened to every one of his podcasts. I think he's got 198 of them. They're 2 hours long. Massive amount. I'll forever be grateful to Marc Passio for what he taught me. And I would always encourage people to look at his work. But I do feel that people get stuck, and it's almost like if Marc Passio didn't say it, then it's not true. So I feel like that's one thing with him. And I do feel, maybe he's very masculine, and that's great. And this world needs a very strong masculine voice. I'm masculine myself, but it sometimes doesn't, maybe that doesn't reach everyone. But I feel like with him now, and I've been like this myself, that he gets angry very quickly. I watched something recently where he was appealing for help on to launch a podcast or something, and he wasn't getting the right help. But I mean, he was just berating people, and I understood his point, but I feel like he's a bit tired, and it maybe needs a bit of a break. Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's so kind of you. I like I say, I've just written a book on AI. All my books are on my website, Transcending Times, or they're all on Amazon, both Kindle or paperback. I've written one on AI. I've written one on NoFap for the men, which is really good, about keeping on to your spiritual seed, shall we call it, and the benefits of that. I've written one on 10. This might be good for you because you're looking to move out. 10 life hacks to break the matrix, or break out of the matrix. So these are 10 things that I've implemented in my own life, and to enable me to transcend the matrix somewhat. I mean, I'm still trapped in it, but to have a life in which that I'm quite happy with. So that would be good for you, that one. That's on there. And the big one that I did was Are You Living or Just Existing, which was my first book. Really appreciate what you do, and it helped me to stay positive, get me through the crazy days that I have here. We live in a mental asylum, don't we? George Carlin, I love what George Carlin said, that when he was, God bless his soul, but he said that he feels like he was living in a circus, and living in the US, he had front row tickets. So I can definitely resonate with that. I appreciate all your support, and oh, by the way, guys, I have a Facebook group, Chakra Removal, Tony Sayers. So if you go on to that, there's a little community building there. And you can ask questions and stuff like that. And that's got a lot of like-minded. Well, it's got a few I've only just started it, but it's got a few like-minded people in there. So that's worth checking out as well. Carling was great. Yeah, I don't know how he was allowed to speak for so long. Creativity is such a great way of getting these messages out there. If we can use art, if we can use comedy, writing, and all this kind of stuff, then it really gets our message out in a much more dynamic way, which often gets more ears to listen to it as well. And it's such a, this is what I mean. We can. People don't really don't like this chakra removal stuff. Yeah, well, they either like it or they don't. It's up to them. I'm just showing people what I've come across, and they either run with it or they don't. So I'm at the stage now of, I put my messages out there, and the right people come. I'm not interested about quantity. I'm I'm interested in quality, and that's what I'm after. Oh, what do I think of the Kundalini? Okay, so the video that I did today actually talk about that. Kundalini serpent energy. It's never resonated with me. I worked on someone that had she'd just done a Kundalini yoga session in the morning, and when I was working on her, I saw a snake entity in my mind's eye, and I was like, "You got a snake on you?" I was like, "What have you been doing? Something ayahuasca Kundalini related to?" And she was like, "Well, I did Kundalini yoga this morning." I was like, "Well, that's what it is then." I don't like Kundalini energy. They've overlaid the Kundalini. So when people have their Kundalini awakening, they are harvesting that energy. So I would not recommend trying to have a Kundalini awakening. Been nice chatting to you guys. Look forward to the next time Q&A. My device is on 4%, so going to bed now. Okay, Meg, great, lovely to connect, and yeah, I'll speak to you soon. Hopefully, have a good weekend. First time I saw him was in the documentary Zeitgeist. Marc Passio was in Zeitgeist. I never knew that. I don't know whether I trust Zeitgeist. I think it might be controlled opposition. So that surprises me, but. Yeah, he's brilliant, and yeah, I'll always be thankful for what he's taught me. Oh, the chat's just gone off again. Someone was just asking something. Hopefully, it will come back. What I found. Was it George Carling? Okay. What I found the most difficult is to see how people seem to only care for themselves. Yeah, I know. You know, I said once, and so it was good, but so I'll answer that in a minute. So I this was one of the things that always upsetted me most, and still does to a point. I always said that my biggest sadness that I will take to my deathbed is that people didn't care enough, and people just didn't care. And I want to get to my deathbed and not have any personal regrets in my own life as much as possible anyway. But being part of this species called humanity, my own disappointment will be, you know, I spent a lot of time showing people, and they didn't care. They didn't care about their world. They didn't care about the children. And it is changing, you know, but yeah, it's a hard one to take. So was good, but now bad, right? So if you're talking about chakra removal, mate, just look at all my videos I do on chakra removal. Just type in Tony Sayers chakra removal. You'll see what I talk about in the chakras, or even go to the start of this video, live video. I talk about chakras. Chakras are plugs that entities lock into and feed on our emotions and our energy, and drain us and infiltrate us. So the chakras have always been bad. It's just obviously we've, like many things, been indoctrinated to think that they are good. And as I said before, people can the Facebook group and look at the testimonials of people that are having them removed, or go to my website and check out what the testimonials are saying on there. Many times now, as I say to myself, fuck it, we deserve all this happening. I don't care about these people. Oh, the Kundalini. Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, no, the Kundalini. Sorry, mate. Yeah, Kundalini has always been bad. I've never ever been drawn to Kundalini. Telepathic song. Yeah, got to sleep too. Best. Cheers, Tony. Yeah, thanks for your contribution. Really great speaking to you. Enjoy Derbyshire, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one. Telepathic Swan. Hidia. I want to escape in the warm. Yeah, you need to move, Hidia. You know, you need to be happy where you are. You need the sun. You need your vitamin D. And yeah, I mean, you know, you don't have to give up. You just need to look at it for a different angle. Just don't be so attached with the outcome of when you tell people stuff. Don't be attached to them caring or even giving a shit. If just be of the opinion that I'm going to tell you this, or I'm going to put this out there. If you don't listen, then, you know, that's fine. That's up to you. So that's when we start harming ourselves, when we get too attached about how people are going to take our message. Okay, so I think I'm going to wrap this up now. We've been going for, God, nearly 2 hours. God, I chat. Sorry, guys. I go on, don't I? Bloody hell. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up because it's breakfast time for me now. I've really enjoyed it. I love connecting with you all. Keep up the good work, guys. We're all in this together. Make those decisions, you know, commit to those decisions. You know, you can do it. You know, we're masters. We're master manifestation creators. So, you know, go for it and don't give up at the first hurdle. The matrix is going to hold you back. It's going to try and hold you back. It's going to put your obstacles in your way. But keep going with it. And, you know, if you want to connect, I'm on Facebook and, you know, email and what have you. So my door's always open to you guys. So have a fantastic Sunday and have a nice sleep. And I'll catch up with you all soon. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.